Well, you're focusing on 150 people or so, and I'm asking you if you're cool with the 10 plus million that came in over the last 4 years.
I don't care about the 10 plus millions.
How do I know that you're not one of them?
One of what?
A trafficker.
I guess you'd have to take my word for it.
Exactly.
These people don't feel welcomed.
They don't feel welcome to come in illegally?
Right.
I feel like Donald Trump, he did what he needed to do this year.
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. Illegal crossings at our southern border have plummeted to a record low under Trump's administration. This is obviously a dramatic change from Joe Biden's administration, where we saw the worst border crisis in American history. Now, the Biden administration said that they couldn't do anything to stop the crisis. Well, it stopped. So are Democrats holding their leadership accountable, or do they not care? Today we're going to find out. Let's go talk to some people. Right here, I have facts and figures from Customs and Border Protection. These are calendar year statistics of apprehensions down at the border, people coming across getting apprehended.
Sure.
95% reduction. What changed?
People are scared.
What changed
Yes.
in terms of the border crossing and illegal crossings?
I'm sorry, I'm not really understanding the question.
There's been a 95% reduction in illegal crossings at the southern border. What changed?
Since when? I'm not quite sure what you're saying here.
Year over year. 2021 to 2025, these are calendar year numbers from Customs and Border Protection.
Well, I know the answer is Trump. That's your answer.
95% reduction in border crossings?
Yeah.
What changed? No, I don't know. What changed?
That's what I'm asking you. What changed?
You're going to say something about the president?
Well, I'm asking you, but the president did change. That's correct.
Yeah. That's it.
What changed?
I don't know. Is this a Trump-related thing or a Democrat, Republican? What is the focus of this?
Yeah. You mean the question, or are you talking about the answer?
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly why it's been reduced so much. I don't think it has anything to do with Trump.
Yeah.
What is the angle on this? I'm
Well,
just trying to get it right.
It's a top 3 issue, and border crisis appears
It's not a top issue for me. I
Yeah,
think it's
that's
ridiculous.
What changed?
The administration.
I feel like that's a trick question.
What is the trick? What am I being trickster about, huh?
You had to ask the people who are crossing. What's changed?
Policy change, anything that you think is the reason for the 95% reduction in illegal crossings, or no?
Probably fear.
Well, I would say the Trump administration, these people don't feel welcomed.
They don't feel welcome to come in illegally?
Right.
So primarily fear, maybe Donald Trump is a deterrent for crossing illegally into the country?
Maybe.
Trump's administration?
Maybe.
Ben, right?
Yes.
Mr. Ben, well, it's a huge pleasure to finally meet you. We got to get your take on this today, okay? What changed?
Oh, President Trump.
T-Dog.
T-Dog, yeah.
Okay.
I say Donald Trump, did his job, he stepped in business and he did what he needed to do.
For sure.
Got ICE out there, ICE doing their job, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I feel like Donald Trump, he did what he needed to do this year.
If immigrants are illegal, they taking up our jobs. So
Resources, maybe.
Everything. So I really think Trump is doing a good job to me.
I guess they're doing their job for once.
Yeah.
It's about time.
It's about time?
Yeah, it's about time.
Do you find that to be a good thing, getting the border under control?
Yes, I do. You go into some of these countries, you automatically go right to jail, and who knows what after that.
Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that we have a 95% reduction in illegal crossings?
Bad.
Yeah. Why do you think bad?
Because I don't like borders. I think that it's like everyone's world.
You think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think that's a horrible thing.
Okay. These numbers, this includes unaccompanied minors, human trafficking, child trafficking. Should we be getting that under control, or you like it that way?
I mean, I don't like child trafficking, but
Over the last 4 years, we had 500,000 unaccompanied minors coming across the southern border.
yeah, I'm sure we did. I personally, there's no way for me to be against immigration in any form.
You're talking about child trafficking, you're talking about human trafficking. This is record-breaking statistics here. Should we get that down?
Not necessarily.
No.
I think America's strength is in its diversity, whether it's legal or illegal immigration.
We have a lot of welfare programs, social safety nets in the United States that taxpayers pay tens, hundreds of billions of dollars into. Is that for the world or for Americans?
It depends on what it is, but I think that we have some socialist systems like medical insurance, and I think they mostly work well. So
For sure. Do you think it's sustainable if that is for the rest of the world?
Well, it's not for the rest of the world because the rest of the world isn't trying to come here. Just
Well,
people
if you
that
believe
really
in
need
open
to.
borders, though, wouldn't that just mean, hey, unfettered?
They're not all going to come.
How do you know who's coming in?
I know. No one ever knew who was coming in.
I'm sorry, man.
If you suck on it a little harder, he might let you go to the White House.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Good argument. All right, you guys, if you are interested in growing your personal brand or business on social media, you are going to want to listen up. Today's sponsor is a company I use all the time called OpusClip, and they help you save time by automating your entire short-form video workflow. I know learning complex editing software can turn a lot of people away from creating content, but OpusClip's AI features allow you to create professional-grade clips without the steep learning curve. Like I said, you guys, I literally use this. Let's make one really quick. You can upload a video file or drop a link into OpusClip. I'm going to upload this video, and with one click, OpusClip will start making clips automatically. Give it a few moments and look how many clips it just made. I'm gonna go ahead and click on this one that's highly rated. OpusClip has expanded beyond just clipping and has now become a leading AI video editing platform with more capabilities. You have access to AI B-roll, automatic captions, AI reframe features, speech enhancement, filler words removal, and timeline editing where you can make any adjustments to your clip. Yeah, I know it's a lot, and I'm honestly shocked by how many features they do have, but it does save content creators a ton of time. Also, OpusClip is hosting a community campaign. All you need to do is post any clip you created with OpusClip that you like and share in your post what you like about OpusClip or what you envision OpusClip looks like in 5 years. Just include the hashtag OpusClip and grow and tag their account OpusClip on any platform you choose. Everyone who participates will get free credits, and one lucky creator will get a 14-inch Macbook Pro and $5,000 cash. Try OpusClip today. If you haven't tried it, give it a shot. I think you guys are going to really enjoy all the features. I will put a link down in the description below. Let's get back in this video. What's going on?
Yes, how do you know that the immigrants or the illegal immigrants coming into the country are not child molesters, right? You asked me that question.
No. I said traffickers.
Yeah.
But hold on, I was saying, how do you know who's coming into the United States? But what I was talking about is, we're talking about over the last 4 years, record-breaking human trafficking, child trafficking.
Yeah, well, how do I know that you're not one of them?
One of what?
A trafficker.
I guess you'd have to take my word for it.
Exactly.
So what are you saying? When it comes down to this, Biden's administration, the Democrats, they said that their hands were tied regarding this border crisis. This is the worst border crisis in American history. Well, it appears to have evaporated. Did they lie to the American people or no? What do you think?
I can't speak to that. I don't know that they lied about it.
Yeah.
I think they could have done a better job for sure.
Who? Did who lie?
Biden and the Democrats, did they lie to the American people about that?
I think it could have been handled better, but I don't think they lied to the American people. I don't know. Your methodology's a little off here. So
What would you prefer it be? Did the Democrats lie about that?
Absolutely.
It was a lie. Why Trump did it in a blink of an eye?
Week 1.
Yes?
So it was a lie?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was a lie.
Yeah.
I think it's fighting everything that had came before it. And I think a lot of Democrats were complicit in some of this stuff. And there needs to be changes in the Democratic Party if we're going to move forward.
But if we're talking about like week 1, starting week 1, illegal crossings plummeting, getting under control, that's all it took? Just a different president? No legislation was needed?
No, I think it's been misrepresented.
What do you mean by that?
I don't think it did just fall like that. I think the numbers were off. I think that,
You think these numbers weren't correct under Joe Biden?
I don't really know whether those numbers are correct or not.
I can show you on Customs and Border Protection's website if you'd like to see them. Yeah. But, we're talking about the worst border crisis in American history right here, and then it just ended. So what's going on there?
I don't think it's the worst border crossing in history.
By all available data.
I think we've had this coming for a long time. And then we came into office, the Biden administration, and I think trying to get a handle, I don't think they handled it right. I don't think that was done.
Well, if it's all natural, right? If there's no cause and effect.
Wait, if this is correct, why is ICE going and wanting to, deport people now? Why are they attacking people now?
You have Customs and Border Protection at the southern border, and then you have ICE that does removals, sometimes at the border as well as internal.
It's still immigration.
What is wrong about ICE removing people in the country illegally? What is wrong about...
They're not removing everybody that's illegal in this country. They came in and said they're removing criminals. Now, here we are looking at people that aren't criminals, just taking them off the street without due process. That's not what we do in America.
I think it's in the Constitution. You don't have to be a citizen to get due process.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right about that. Immigration is a different thing. So when it comes to due process, I'm glad you brought that up. Due process is like, let's say somebody's in the country illegally, right? There's many people like that.
Yeah.
Somebody's in the country illegally and they rob somebody. They get due process in like a criminal court, right? Whereas immigration is actually an administrative process. So they don't quite
get... It's not
get...
in the Constitution, so...
It's different things.
It's a different thing, so that's not protected under the Constitution?
Not quite. Not really, no.
I thought I was reading today
That's why immigration's not like a criminal process. They don't sit in front of a jury. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, for example, due process rights for people that are in the country illegally, or maybe you want to use the term undocumented, let's say they're a recent arrival within like 100, 200 days. There's basically no due process. They pretty much just pick them up, send them back.
Is that the law right now?
It's always been the law. Isn't this just enforcing basic immigration law when it comes to removing people that are in the country illegally? It's like a 2010 Democrat position, isn't it?
Legally. Where is due process being enforced legally? Nothing in this country is being run.
What does due process have to do with immigration, really, when it comes to...
If you're going to pull people out that are in line, that are doing what they should do legally to become citizens, and you're going to have ICE coming out and pulling them out of the courthouses and getting rid of them and sending them to places that are torturous, no, that's not due process, and that's not the system.
Yeah, a due process does apply to people that are in the country illegally, but let's say that would be like in the case of a criminal court, not an administrative process.
They've done what they're supposed to do in due process, and they're still being picked up. They're going into fields and picking people up. They don't even know what the backgrounds are on these people.
But they're allowed to do all that.
No, you're not allowed in this country just to go in and round up people and get them off the streets. No.
If they're in the country illegally and they violated 8 U.S. Code 1325, yes. Is your stance that you don't want any border security at all?
To be honest, I haven't thought about what level I would want. I just don't think that people should be punished for trying to get a better life.
What about people that are coming here that are, let's say, gang members or whatever it may be? We have Tren de Aragua, MS-13.
Sure.
How do you figure that out at the border if you're not really enforcing it? What do you think?
I mean, are they really enforcing, like, U.S.-born citizens that are also gang members, that are also hurting people? You know what I mean?
Police and FBI? Probably.
I mean, probably
You don't think so?
Not really.
You think they could be doing a better job?
Yeah, I mean, think about the people. There was a serial killer that was caught here by a U.S., like, just people who were just out and saw his photo. There's,
Who put out the photo of him?
I think a sketch artist did. But also, like, the Sunset Park shooting a couple years ago, the police didn't find him. Some random guy at a bodega found him. You know what I mean? Like, I think...
Do you think police prevent issues like that from happening or deter issues like that from happening?
No, I don't. I mean...
Would you feel safer at a concert with no police officers than a concert with police officers? Just curious where you're standing on this.
When I'm at a concert, I don't check if there's police officers.
But the idea of it, would you feel more comfortable if there was a police presence or no?
Honestly, no.
NYPD's right there. Would we prefer them not be here or would we prefer them to be here?
Yeah, I'd prefer them to not be here.
I am showing people this figure, and a lot of them don't think that this is a good thing. What would your response to those people be?
Well, it's really a shame. Our standard of living is pretty high, and so naturally we attract a lot of people. And I mean, I know people from I know a lot of people from other countries, but they're here legally, and they go through the process. And a lot of the legal immigrants don't like this. A lot of the legal immigrants are against the people just walking across the border, and because they didn't do it right.
Trump imported the South, Africans, the white Nazi South Africans, and they paid
What was
a bunch
the evidence
of money.
that they were Nazis? Weren't they all waving American flags and stuff?
Oh, come on.
Do you have a problem? You have a problem with that? What was it, like 150 people?
Yeah.
Over the last 4 years, there was about 10 million
I
illegal
have
crossings
a
at our southern
real
border.
problem with him importing white people when everything that's of color is getting rid of. If this is
What about the last 4 years? There was over 10 million illegals that entered the country illegally. Are you cool with that?
You're going back to that again?
Well, you're focusing on 150 people or so, and I'm asking you if you're cool with the 10 plus million that came in over the last 4 years.
I don't care about the 10 plus millions.
What about you, man? Where do you stand on that? What do you think?
I'm not really too big on politics, but when I do look around, like New York is very crowded, and I've been seeing like it's segregated too. When you go in certain parts, you see a lot of it like they just took it over and shit like that. And I see what Trump be talking about. He did move off his word though.
Do you guys think like the 10 plus million people that enter the country illegally under Biden's administration is contributing negatively to the housing crisis in places like New York?
Yeah, as far as now, yes, because I'm not gonna lie, the shelters is overpopulated right now, and they still trying to figure out what they need to do with the crisis of overpopulating up here. Because right now it's bad up here.
Minimum of 10 million people coming into the country under Biden. Do you think that those are negatively impacting housing, crowded classrooms, all of that?
Well,
Do you think that's too many people in 4 years?
Well, again, yes. Well, I feel it should be a shared sacrifice. I think a lot of cities like New York had declared themselves sanctuary cities. So then naturally people felt comfortable coming here and they overwhelmed our system. And a lot of the essential programs like education and other city services were slated to be cut by 10 or 20%. And it was affecting the quality of life here in New York.
Was it?
So, yeah. So that became a big issue.
I'm not from here, so teach me about it, right?
Yeah, so that's right. So it did affect
So
a lot
feel
of
free
the
to
quality
take
of
it away.
life, putting people up in shelters and they would stay up all night. And so it affected the quality of life of the residents here.
Really quick, back to the immigration thing. I mean, we're talking about basic immigration law that's being enforced here.
I think the
If you're in the country illegally, you
if
gotta
we
go,
followed
right?
the basic immigration laws, I think we'd be okay, but we haven't done that.
That's literally
And-
what's
and
being
that's-
done right now. People have had green cards revoked. In fact, we used to not allow communists into the country.
Yeah.
That's kind of based. I actually agree with
Well,
that. Do you agree with that?
After World War II, we brought over the Nazis.
Yeah, that was pretty gross.
Yeah, it was.
Scientists you're talking about.
Scientists and non-scientists.
Probably the case, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, but what we're talking about here, you're talking about people that are being deported that are here illegally, but they're not committing a crime. You still violated immigration law, and therefore immigration law does need to be enforced, does it not?
The immigration laws that we have, if followed, are adequate, and they should be enforced.
They are.
But no, they are. They're not being enforced.
Do you only want to get rid of people that are committing crimes, like violent crimes?
Yeah, if people are here and they've been here for 20 years, and they are contributing to society, you shouldn't go in and disrupt families, tear them apart, tear their kids from them, and ship them out to God knows where. It's not the humanity. The lack of humanity is just disgusting.
Well, you mentioned humanity, though, but not enforcing immigration law creates a humanitarian crisis down at the southern border.
No, they should enforce
What you're advocating for,
immigration.
if
No,
you're saying
if you
only
have-
people that commit violent crimes, you're advocating for open borders. That's
No, I'm
basically
not
what you're saying.
advocating-
Because you're
No,
okay
no,
with
I'm not.
illegal immigration.
So you take it from where it is now and you move forward and you devise the rules, you devise how you're going to handle the people that are here. You don't go into communities and then rip them apart for the mistakes of other previous administrations or for, you need to have...
I mean, that's what happens when you're violating laws, right? You can make the same argument that you're making right now about somebody that robbed a bank or killed somebody in a DUI. You can make the same argument of saying, do not send them to jail because you're splitting up families.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm talking about the people that are not criminal, that haven't done anything. The ones that are being rounded up and deported because...
Well, they violated immigration law, right?
Right, because they're here.
And if you don't enforce it, this is what happens. We have a lot of pushback going from ICE, doing internal removals of people that are in the country illegally.
Yeah.
Do you see that as kind of a radical position under Donald Trump, or is that just immigration law?
That's immigration law. The laws were on the books before, it's just they weren't enforced.
Obviously, it's been a ramp up in what ICE is doing, but it is pretty basic federal law, okay?
Yeah.
But it is a ramp up, so that's true. Yeah. But it's a response to a ramp up in millions coming over per
right.
year.
So they have to ramp up. It's
so
like,
what do? You don't ramp up removal
No.
and ramp up, bringing everybody
Okay.
in? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying not to do that.
No,
but
no, I
think
understand.
there's a way to do it. I think maybe, maybe they're a little bit overly aggressive. But look, it's a difficult job.
To some degree, I get it, just because, America is the land of the free. We want it. People come here for economic prosperity. At the same time, I think that people should be able to come here legally. I'm a first-generation American. My dad's an immigrant, and he did the same thing. Obviously, things are difficult across in multiple countries.
Yeah.
It's just, I want the best for people, especially people that are coming to America for economic prosperity to escape threats to their lives, stuff like that. But there is also a certain way that you just have to go about it.
96% reduction in illegal crossings right now, so that's how it goes. Is that bad for the human traffickers down at the southern border?
No, it should be. I mean, they should be
Maybe they've
ordering.
lost 96% of their.
No one has a problem with border control.
Yeah.
Nobody has a problem with that. It's after the fact that you get in here, after the fact that how they process everything.
Would you say that it's not just border control that's deterring people from coming in illegally, but also enforcement internally as well?
That is keeping them from coming in?
Mm-hmm. Because they believe that the Trump administration is enforcing the laws, therefore they're not even going to try to come across. Because if we weren't enforcing the laws, there would be more people showing up at the southern border. Isn't that correct?
People are desperate. I don't think you're going to stop them from trying to come in.
96% reduction in illegal crossings? That's a pretty big stop.
It is a pretty big stop. But you know what? Who wants to come into this country now?
I'm from Florida. Me moving up here or just seeing areas like this, I'd be like, damn, I don't even want to move up here now because just of the stuff that be going on.
A little bit out of control.
Yeah, so you feel me? So it's like a lot of stuff that I feel like need to be done, but once Donald Trump get in that chair, it's over with.
All right, everyone, that is it for today. So over the last 12 months, we've pretty much gone from the border crisis is Donald Trump's fault to essentially we shouldn't have any borders. Let me know your guys' thoughts about these conversations down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that bell notification button so you are notified next time I post. And I'll catch you all in the next one. And let's get our founder tier members' names up on the screen. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Look at those names. They are amazing. They are the best. They are supporting the channel. They are patriots. And I appreciate all of our members for supporting the channel. Helps me go out and make more videos for you guys. If you'd like to become a founder tier member today, make sure to hit that link down in the description below and you can get your name up on the screen at the end of my videos. Pretty cool. Thanks, guys.